Dandavat pranams. Okay. Hope I am
Hare
audible.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna
Dandavat
Prabhuji,
pranam.
Krishna,
Dandavat
yes,
pranam,
Prabhu,
Prabhuji.
you are audible.
Yes, Prabhu.
Right. I'm going to share my screen. Today's verses will be from 21 to 28, Mataji. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, 21 to 20.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming, Mataji. So, I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloker Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Hare Krishna. So, we are reading from Shrimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 13, and verses are 21 to 28. So, I would request, you can raise your hands and then you can read, somebody can read the verse, somebody can read the translation, like that. Please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, your voice is little low, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Any better now? No?
Yeah, better, Prabhu.
Okay.
Hare
So,
Better now.
yeah, somebody can read the verse.
Prabhuji, you want us to read the purport also, Prabhuji?
Yes. It will
Okay.
be on my screen. You can read it from my screen.
Yeah. Vasudha Mataji, you can read the shloka. Shobha Mataji, the translation, and Meenakshi Mataji, the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Vidura uvacha tasya sila nidhe sadhor brahmanyasya mahatmanaha rajnya katam abhud dushta prajayad vimanayayo. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mata. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhujis and Matajis. Purport translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai translation. Vidura inquired from the sage Maitreya, yes, dear Brahmana, king, Anga was very gentle. He had high character and was a saintly personality and lover of Brahminical culture. How was it that such a great soul got a bad son like Vena, because of whom he became indifferent to his kingdom and left it? Haribol Dandavat Prabhuji, thank you.
Right. Dhanavad Mataji. Purport, someone can read.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Okay.
In family life, a man is supposed to live happily with father, mother, wife, and children. But sometimes, under certain conditions, a father, mother, child, or wife becomes an enemy. It is said by Chanakya Pandita that a father is an enemy when he is too much in debt. A mother is an enemy if she marries for the second time. A wife is an enemy when she is very beautiful, and a son is an enemy when he is a foolish rascal. In this way, when a family member becomes an enemy, it is very difficult to live in family life or remain a householder. Generally, such situations occur in the material world. Therefore, according to Vedic culture, one has to take leave of his family members just after his 50th year, so that the balance of his life may be completely devoted in search of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Correct. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me jump to the next one. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Shilpa Mataji, you can read the shloka. Archana Mataji, the translation, and Rohini Mataji, the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam, Prabhu. Kim baho vena uddishya brahmadandam ayuyujana danda vrata Dhare Ragi Munayo Dharma Kovidaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare. Translation.
Hare Krishna, pranams Prabhu. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Vidura also inquired, how is it that the great sages who were completely conversant with religious principles desired to curse King Vena, who himself carried the rod of punishment, and thus awarded him the greatest punishment, Brahma Shaba. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Purport.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is understood that the king is able to give punishment to everyone, but in this case, it appears that the great sages punished him. The king must have done something very serious. Otherwise, how could the great sages, who were supposed to be the greatest and most tolerant, still punish him in spite of their elevated religious consciousness? It appears also that the king was not independent of the Brahminical culture. Above the king was the control of the Brahmanas, and if needed, the Brahmanas would dethrone the king or kill him, not with any weapon, but with the mantra of a Brahma Shapa. The Brahmanas were so powerful that simply by their cursing, one would even die. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. 23rd verse.
Hare Krishna. Nemisha Mataji, you can read the shloka. Varnali Mataji, the translation, and Anusuya Mataji, the purport. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम नवद्येय प्रजापाल प्रजाभे राघवानपि यदसौ लोकपालानां बिभर्ति योजस्व तेजसा हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम
Hare Krishna Prabhuji's Mataji's Dandavat Pranams. Thank you, Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. It is the duty of all citizens in a state never to insult the king, even though he sometimes appears to have done something very sinful. Because of his prowess, the king is always more influential than all other ruling chiefs. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. According to Vedic civilization, the king is supposed to be the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is called Naranarayana, indicating that Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appears in human society as the king. It is the etiquette that neither a Brahmana nor a Kshatriya king is ever insulted by the citizens. Even though a king appears to be sinful, the citizen should not insult him. But in case of Vena, it appears that he was cursed by the Naradevatas. Therefore, it was concluded that his sinful activities were very grievous. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. 24th verse.
Hare Krishna. Kripamai Mataji, read the shloka. Shanti Mataji, the translation, and I'll read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, you are audible.
Okay, text 24, Hare Krishna. Yedat akyahimi brahman suniti atmaja sheshtitam Shraddhayanaya Bhaktyaya Tvam Parabara Vidmaha. Thank you, Mataji, Prabhuji.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vidura requested Maitreya, my dear Brahmana, you are well conversant with all subjects, both past and future. Therefore, I wish to hear from you all the activities of King Vena. I am your faithful devotee, so please explain this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vidura accepted Maitreya as a spiritual master. A disciple always inquires from the spiritual master, and the spiritual master answers the question, provided the disciple is very gentle and devoted. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura said that by the mercy of the spiritual master, one is blessed with the mercy of the Supreme Lord. The spiritual master is not inclined to disclose all the secrets of transcendental science unless the disciple is very submissive and devoted. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the process of receiving knowledge from the spiritual master entails submission, inquiry, and service. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, 25th verse.
Hare Krishna. Sridhar Prabhu, you read the shloka. Sharmila Mataji, the translation, and Naimisha Mataji, the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam. Ango swametham rajashir ajahara mahakradum rajakmur devadas tasminno ahuta brahmavadibihi. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Maitreya replied, My dear Vidura, once the great king Anga arranged to perform the great sacrifice known as Ashwamedha. All the expert Brahmanas present knew how to invite the demigods, but in spite of their efforts, no demigods participated or appeared in that sacrifice. Thank you, Prabhu.
Purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. A Vedic sacrifice is not an ordinary performance. The demigods used to participate in such sacrifices, and the animals sacrificed in such performances were reincarnated with new life. In this age of Kali, there are no powerful Brahmanas who can invite the demigods or give renewed life to animals. Formerly, the Brahmanas, well conversant in Vedic mantras could show the potency of the mantras, but in this age, there are no such Brahmanas. All such sacrifices are forbidden. The sacrifice in which horses were offered were called Ashwamedha. Sometimes cows were sacrificed, Gavalambha, not for eating purposes, but to give them new life in order to show the potency of this mantra. In this age, therefore, the only practical yajna is Sankirtan yajna, or chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 24 hours a day. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Tamuchurvismitastatra yajmanam atartvija havimshi hihuyamanani na te grinanti devataha. Shilpa Mataji, you can read the translation, and Barnali Mataji, sorry, only translation.
Hare Krishna. The priests engaged in the sacrifice then informed King Anga, O king, we are properly offering the clarified butter in the sacrifice, but despite all our efforts, the demigods do not accept it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. 27th verse.
Hare Krishna. Krishnamurti Prabhu, you can read the shloka, and Vasudha Mataji, the translation, and Divya Mataji, the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam Prabhuji.
Pranam.
Rajan avinksha drushtani shraddhaya siddhitani te chandamsya yatayamani yojitani dhutavrataihi. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam Prabhuji.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. O King, we know that the paraphernalia to perform the sacrifice is well collected by you with great faith and care and is not polluted. Our chanting of the Vedic hymns is also not deficient in any way, for all the Brahmanas and priests present here are expert and are executing the performances properly. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. And last verse for today. No, one more. 27th purport is there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shanti Mataji, you can read the purport.
Yeah.
Divya Mataji, sorry, Divya Mataji. Mataji, you can read the next.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. It is the practice of the Brahmanas conversant with the signs of pronounce Vedic mantra in the right accent. The combination of the mantra and Sanskrit word must be chanted with the right pronunciation. Otherwise, it will not be successful. In this age, the Brahmanas are neither well versed in the Sanskrit language nor very pure in practical life. But by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can attain the highest benefit of sacrificial performance. Even if the Hare Krishna mantra is not chanted properly, it still has so much potency that the chanter gains the effect. Hare Krishna.
Very good. And the last verse for today.
Hare Krishna, Barnali Mataji, you can read the shloka, Shanti Mataji, the translation, Anushya Mataji, the purport. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Navidameha devanam hilanam vayam anvapi yanna grehanti bhagwan swan ya deva karma shakshina. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Dear King, we do not find any reason that the demigod should feel insulted or neglected in any way. But still, the demigods who are witnesses for the sacrifices do not accept their shares. We do not know why this is so. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is indicated herein that if there is negligence on the part of the priest, the demigods do not accept their share in sacrifices. Similarly, in devotional service, there are offenses known as seva aparadha. Those who are engaged in worshipping the deity Radha and Krishna in the temple should avoid such offenses in service. The offenses in service are described in the nectar of devotion. If we simply make a show of offering services to the deity but do not care for the seva aparadha, certainly the Radha Krishna deity will not accept offerings from such non-devotees. Devotees engaged in temple worship should therefore not manufacture their own methods but should strictly follow the regulative principles of cleanliness, and then offerings will be accepted. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhujis and Matajis. There is some more reading. We will come to that part. So I would request all of you to read again on this. First, I would like to invoke the blessings of the spiritual master and pray to all of you so that I can do some service to Shrimad Bhagavatam. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pashyate Desh Tarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam panghum langhayate girip yat kripatamaham vande paramananda madhavam Shri Gurun Deen Taranam. Hare Krishna. Okay, so I have a feeling that now you can hear me better because I switched to my phone also.
Yes, Prabhu, much
Yes,
better.
Prabhu, we can.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Very
Prabhuji. But
loud it is.
Okay, thank you for confirming. So the today's verses from Canto 4 are describing the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj, and the lineage is such that that once there is a great devotee of the Lord, then there will be great personalities, and it will continue like that. And so here we are hearing Maitreya Muni telling Vidur about King Anga, and in these particular verses, what the storyline is that King Anga was an amazing king. Still, he had a very bad son, Vena, and he was very violent, and because of that, King Anga got so fed up at one point that he left the kingdom. And then it is mentioned that Vena was punished by the Brahmanas, where he was cursed to death and he immediately died. And this bewilders Vidur, so he submits very humbly to Maitreya Rishi, saying, "Please instruct me as your servant. I want to know everything about Vena. And so the story moves back into past, and Maitreya Muni starts telling that King Anga once did a Ashwamedh Yagya, a fire sacrifice, and after many days of chanting the mantras, the demigods didn't appear and accept the offerings. And it stops here on 28th. It has stopped here, and now it's just that the Brahmanas are wondering why this has happened. Okay, so let's see. What I have taken some salient points from today's verses, and then we will pick up some points which are very relevant to our bhakti process, and then we will talk more in detail about them. So first was that Anga left due to a problematic son. Prabhupada mentions that sometimes family members are problematic, right? So maybe we have also experienced that, that okay, some family member is problematic to me. So so I realize that I am tolerating someone. I should also realize that somebody is tolerating me. Right? So and that is what I was reminded of when I was thinking about this. The 22nd verse talks about powerful Brahmanas punished Vena. And in that sense, we can see that in the Vedic society, Brahmanas were the head of the society. They used to guide the society, and if needed, if that guidance is not being followed and the society and the masses are not going in the right direction, then they would take the control. And even if it is needed that this person is not correct, they will find another person and thrown them, or they will kill that person, like in the case of Vena, right? And that's why we see in today's society, we don't have Brahmanas as the head of the society. That's why today's society is sometimes compared to a body which does not have head. So, and it's still moving. So where it is moving, it does not know. That's how today's society is sometimes compared. Now, 23rd verse says that Vena committed grievous offenses. And grievous offenses for which Brahmanas, who are the most calm people, had to give him death punishment. What kind of sins would they be? So there's a saying I want to bring to your attention. This is a Western saying. To test the character of a woman, take everything away from her man. So when her husband is in difficulty and he has lost everything, then how would she support him or would abandon him is the true test of character for a woman, it is said. And then it is said to test the character of a man. When do you test the character? When it is possible to test the character of a man? When you give him power. When you give man power, what happens is that he would try to either serve the people or he would try to exploit the people who are under him. And that's why when Hiranyakashyap is described, Srila Prabhupada mentions Hiranya means gold, Kashyap means Kashipu means soft bed. The exploitative men, they try to dominate, they want to win. Vena would, if he is losing in the game, he will kill that boy who was winning. Okay, so that much cruel he was. The same thing will go towards lust also. So he must have done some heinous crimes actually, which are not worth mentioning. When there are crime against women, mostly it is just left to like grievous sins. Anything else, some details can be given. Like there's a detail that child was killed by Vena when he was playing. So those are the kinds of sins which are punishable by death. Crime against women actually. So that was the reason. And then at this point, Vidura's ideal disciple qualities are being glorified. by Srila Prabhupada, where he's saying that he was submissive and that's why he got the mercy. So we will see this, Guru's mercy. We will see this topic today. And then Vidur said, I want to know about Vena. So Maitreya Muni replied that king arranged for a sacrifice, great sacrifice called Ashwamedha. But what happened? The demigods did not participate. So this was, Srila Prabhupada says, this was possible in the previous ages. That when the fire sacrifices will happen and when the demigods are called, they would appear. So it is later revealed that this was because King Anga had no son. That's why they were not appearing. This will be revealed in the later verses. So for today's verses, we will move on from this. So that's why it is said that in today's age, such fire sacrifices are not potent. Okay, and only practical yajna is Sankirtan yajna. So that will also become a theme of our today's discussion. And 25th verse, Srila Prabhupada talks about the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He says that chanting of Vedic hymns are not deficient. The Brahmanas are saying, and but there is no effect. So then Srila Prabhupada says, but even if Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not chanted properly, so if Vedic hymns are not chanted properly, then the effect will not be there. But Srila Prabhupada says that even if Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not chanted properly, the chanter gains the effect. So much is the potency of the holy name. Okay, so this aspect will also get covered. And that's why it is said that Hare Krishna mantra, by chanting this, one can attain the highest benefit of sacrificial performances. Okay, so we will talk about chanting for sure. And the last verse for today, 28th, it says that demigods do not appear. It means that there is some offense. And so Srila Prabhupada quotes that in Bhakti also, especially in deity worship to the Radha Krishna deities, the Seva Aprad may happen. Okay, so these are the topics that we would like to talk about today. Yeah. And okay, it's coming. So finally, okay, my screen was stuck. I was confused. Okay, so today I have reversed the order a little bit. First, we would like to speak about Seva Aprad, and then we will look at Guru Kripa, the mercy of the Guru. Then we will look at chanting of Hare Krishna, and then the glory of Sankirtan Yajna. Okay, so that's the order that I have picked up. So first I would like to speak about Seva Aprad. So Seva Aprad, why it happens, So Seva Aprad means that offense in services. Every deity carries a rasa, a mallow, a particular mood, a bhav. And there are certain attitude from our side that does not go along with that mallow. We'll see example of that. But basically, why is that deity there? So that you can feel that mallow, you can feel that rasa. And if your attitude is not aligned with that rasa, then you will not get that rasa. You will not feel it, right? So that mallow, what will happen? It will become inaccessible because of some improper way of our dealing with the deities or dealing with the devotees. That is a seva aprad. That is an offense. Okay. Why? Because the desired result will not be achieved. So when it comes to deities, there are two mellows which are common across all the deities. No matter whose deities they are, there are two mellows that are common. Two rasas are common, and let's see the cause of offenses because of that. The first one is awe and reverence towards the deity, Aishwarya Bhav. When you look at the deity, you can never have a friendly relationship that you pick the deity and you put it in the lap and says, yes, oh, this is my deity, I love it so much. No, that is not the purpose of the deity in that sense. The purpose of the deity is to serve the spiritual master in his absence. What is spiritual master doing? Spiritual master is serving God, serving the Lord in different ways. And when I am with my spiritual master, my guru, he engages me also in those service. Chaturvidhashi, है ना? Chaturvidhashi Bhagavad Prasado Swadanna Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangha. Okay, the spiritual master is engaging us in the Shri Vigrahara Dhana Nityanana Sringara Tan Mandir Marjanado. So the spiritual master is engaging us in the service of the deities, and when he is not there, he gives the deities to us and say that you serve them on my behalf. So the relationship that I have with my guru is of awe and reverence. It is never of friendship. Come, Guru Maharaj, we will go around, roam like friends. No, that is of awe and reverence, and that is why the deities which are given by the guru, when he is not there, we serve them with that same bhav of awe and reverence, even if we are in some other rasa with the Lord, with God. Okay, and that in that sense, this bhav becomes the foundation rasa on top of which all other rasas come. Okay, so when you not treat a deity as a person, we will see from the seva aparadhs, then we make aparadh towards it. When we don't treat the deity as the master present in front of us, then there are aparadhs. There you will see, when you will see the seva aparadhs, you will see that if your guru was standing there, you will probably not do that. If prime minister of a country was standing there, you will not do that. So anybody whom you have great respect for, like, oh my God, oh, don't you see he's standing over there, don't misbehave right now. No, that thing, when that is not there, you will see the pattern. Only then seva aparadhs happen. Okay, and the second one, so that means by your attitude, you are not feeling that deity as your master who's present in front of you. Why would that happen? Because when we look at the deities, there is always a possibility that somewhere in your heart, you feel that he is Lord, but somewhere in your heart, you have this atheistic tendency. Come on, it's not that Krishna is standing over there. This is just a lifeless deity, lifeless idol. Only then seva aparadh happens. So seva aparadh basically is a sort of atheism also, And the second is my rasa, das rasa. I am das, my servant attitude. So when one does not behave as a good servant, as an attentive servant, as a sincere servant, or does not behave in the proper etiquette in which the servant should be. Sometimes in the social experiments and in the name of pranks, people misbehave with others in places where they expect respect. Like you go to a restaurant and a waiter comes, and that waiter starts talking to you in a very, very impugnant way, in a very disrespectful way. Okay, then the customer gets offended. How dare you speak to me like this? Why are you disrespecting me? What is wrong with you? Why would people say that? Because they expect a proper etiquette and proper service when in that setup, right? So the second pattern you will see in seva aparadhs are when the people they do not behave the way an ideal servant should behave. So now that seva aparadh has been mentioned, I felt that it is important that we should read seva aparadh once. We should know these. So I would request you to raise your hands again. There are 64 offenses that are to be avoided, which are mentioned in Nectar of Devotion, chapter 8. And I would like all of you to read one offense, then move on one offense. It would take us probably 10 or 15 minutes, but it will be all worth it. Yesterday only I was telling my better half that, here 64 offenses I would read. And she was like, did you not read them during Bhakti Shastri? I was like, I did, but then we read them again and there were some moments, so it's always good to even revise. So first 32 offenses Srila Prabhupada has mentioned come from supplementary Vedic literature. Srila Prabhupada has not mentioned in Nectar of Devotion from where Srila Rupa Goswami has quoted these, but here they are in front of you. let me just put them down and you can start reading. Go ahead with the first one.
Shall I, Prabhuji?
Yes.
One should not enter the temple of the deity in a car or palanquin or with shoes on the feet. Hare Krishna.
One should not fail to observe the various festivals for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such as Janmashtami and Ratha Yatra. Hare Krishna.
One should not avoid bowing down before the deity.
One should not enter the temple to worship the Lord without having washed one's hand and feet after eating.
One should
One
not
should not enter the temple in a
contaminated state. According to Vedic scripture, if someone dies in the family, the whole family becomes contaminated for some time according to its status. For example, if the family is Brahmana, their contamination period is 12 days. For the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, it is 15 days, and for Shudra, 30 days.
One should not bow down on one hand.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
One should not circumambulate in front of Sri Krishna. The process of circumambulating the temple is that one should begin circumambulating from the deity's right hand side to the temple and come round. Such circumambulation should be performed outside the temple structures at least 3 times daily.
One should not spread his legs before the deity.
One should not sit before the deity, holding the ankles, elbows, or knees with one's hand. One should not lie down before. Okay, Mataji.
One should not lie down before the deity of Krishna.
One should not accept prasada before the deity.
One should never
speak a lie before the deity.
One should not talk very loudly before the deity.
One should not talk with others before the deity.
One should not cry or howl before the deity.
One should not quarrel or fight before the deity.
One should not chastise anyone before the deity.
One should not be charitable to beggars before the deity.
One should not speak very harshly to others before the deity.
Hare Krishna. So let me move to the second screen. Okay.
One should not wear a fur blanket before the deity.
One should not eulogize or praise anyone else before the deity.
One should not speak any ill names before the deity.
One should not pass air before the deity.
One should not aim to worship the deity according to one's means, offering only patram pushpam.
One should not eat anything that is not offered first to Krishna.
One should not
fail to offer fresh fruits and grains to Krishna according to the season.
After the food has been cooked, no one should be offered any foodstuff unless it is first offered to the deity.
One should not sit with its back towards the deity.
One should not offer obeisances silently to the spiritual master, or in other words, one should recite aloud the prayers to the spiritual master while offering obeisances.
Not fail to offer some praise in the presence of the spiritual master.
One should not praise himself before the spiritual master.
One should not deride the demigods before the deity.
Thank you. Thank you so much, dear devotees. We will continue again. I just wanted to mention a couple of, most of these are self-explanatory. Just one should not fail to worship the deity according to one's means. It means that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yoga bhaktya pranati. Even if something very basic you offer to me, I accept it. So it's not that if somebody is very well to do, he gives only patram and pushpam to Krishna. So if we can give more, then we should try to give more. That would be treating the master as a master. So that is one of the pointers. If at all there are any questions, you can note them down. I try my best to attempt them later. And please figure out. I think you're all reading very nicely. Hare Krishna, go ahead.
Besides
one
these,
should not
there are a
touch
number
the
of
deity in the dark room.
One should not strictly follow the rules and regulations in worshipping the deity.
One should not enter the temple of the deity without first making some sound.
One
One
should
should
not
not
offer
offer any
any
foodstuff
to the
to the
deity
deity which
which
has
has
been
been
seen by
seen by
dogs or other lower animals.
One should
One
not
should
break
not
silence
break
while
silence
worshipping.
while worshipping.
One should not
One should
pass
not
urine
pass
or
urine
evacuate
or
while
evacuate
engaged
while
in
engaged in
worshipping.
worshipping.
One
One
should
should
not
not
offer
offer
incense without
incense
offering
without
samgla.
offering samgla.
Useless
Useless
flowers
flowers without any fragrance should be
Useless flowers
offered.
without any fragrance should not be offered.
One should not fail to wash his teeth very carefully every day.
One should not
One
enter
should
the
not
temple
fail to
directly
wash his
after
teeth
sexual
very carefully
intercourse.
every day.
One should not enter
One
the
should
temple
not enter the temple
after
directly
touching a
after
woman
sexual
during her
intercourse.
menstrual period.
One should not enter the temple
temple-
touching a dead body.
One should not enter the temple wearing garments of red or blue color or garments which are unwashed.
One should not enter the temple after touching a dead body. One
One
should not enter
enter
the
the
temple
temple
wearing
wearing
garments of
garments
red, blue, or
of
garments which are washed.
unwashed.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Matajis. So these are, Srila Prabhupada says, these are mentioned in Varha Puran. Okay. And almost on the last page. So I would request that those who have read can give a chance to other devotees, and that way there may be some less confusion among you all. I am very sorry to create confusion among you. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. I just wanted to put a message like that, and I'm so glad Prabhuji said that. Hare Krishna. Mataji's, those who have not read, please kindly read Mataji one by one.
Yeah.
One should not enter the temple after seeing a dead body.
One should not
One
pass
not
air
pass
within
air
the
within
temple.
the temple.
One should
One
not be
should,
angry within the temple.
One should not enter the temple after visiting a crematorium.
One should not belch before the deity. So until one has fully digested his food, he should not enter the temple.
One should not
smoke
marijuana or ganja.
One should not take opium or similar intoxicants.
One should not enter the deity room or touch the body of the deity after having smeared oil over his body. Hare Krishna.
One should not
should
show
not show
disrespect to scripture, teaching about the supremacy of the Lord.
One should not introduce any opposing scripture.
One should not chew betel before the deity.
One should not offer flour that was kept in the unclean plot.
And with that,
one should not worship the Lord while sitting on the bare floor. One must have a sitting place or carpet.
One should not touch the deity before one has completed the taking bath.
One should not decorate his forehead
with the
forehead
3 lines in a cup.
with the 3 lines tika.
One should not enter the temple without washing his hands and feet.
One
Others
should not
rules-
offer foodstuff
the
which
rules
is
are
cooked
that.
by a non-Vaishnava.
One should not worship the deity before a non-devotee, and one should not engage himself in the worship of the Lord while seeing a non-devotee.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you so much, dear devotees. So the last one I would read because there is some explanation also in that. I'll bring it now. One should not worship the deity without first worshipping the demigod Ganpati, who drives away all the impediments in the execution of devotional service. So the process that we follow in our temples is that we know uh, Shri Guru's body, our spiritual master's body, all the demigods reside in that. And that's why our process is that we approach our Guru Maharaj and we worship our Guru before we worship the deities. Okay, that is the Gaudiya Vaishnava way of doing it. Even all the Vaishnavas, they do it like that. So these are some of the 64, even more seva apras that are being mentioned. The last one is also that if a devotee is perspiring, all the sweat is coming out, then he should not worship the deity. Like that, there are some general rules of cleanliness. And like I said, an attitude, an attitude of I am the servant and Lord is the master. So if you can see a pattern of these, then you would be able to judge whether what I am doing is an offense or not. So if you are acting like a servant, then it's good. If you are treating Lord like master, and then how do you deal with the people who follow the master? Or you respect them also. So if Prime Minister comes to your home, you give him respect, and there are 2 or 3 more ministers around him. How do you treat them? Oh, it would be obvious. I would treat them also with lot of respect and ask the entourage to sit. So those are the devotees of the Lord. So respecting the Lord includes respecting devotees also, no matter how they are. Even though how they are. So that was about seva aparad, understanding little bit. And now we'll move on. So Guru Kripa, there is this great bifurcation in Hinduism, that some people worship Lord Vishnu and some people worship others. And so what is the root cause of that? I would like to quote this actually. Ye me bhakta jana partha, na me bhaktascha te jana, mad bhakta nam cha ye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamataha. So the sadhus say that if there is some confusion or ambiguity, who is the source of that confusion or ambiguity? That is also Krishna only. So Krishna himself has actually said to Arjuna, it comes in Adi Puran, it same is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, and then in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Krishna is saying those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are the devotees of my servant are actually my devotees. So that is the reason, even outside Vaishnavism, people worship pure devotees of the Lord, because Lord himself is saying, if you want to attain me, it's not easy to attain Krishna. It's not easy to see God. It's not easy to attain God's kingdom. So Krishna is saying, directly if you do, my mercy will come to you or not come. Nobody knows that. It's very difficult because that scale is very high. To please Krishna, it's very difficult. But if you please Bholenath, Lord Shiva, then you may attain Krishna. If you please Lord Ganesha, then you may attain Krishna. Why? Because they are the pure devotees of the Lord. They are Vaishnavas. And so what Vaishnavas do is that Vaishnavas worship Guru. This is confirmed by the song of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur glorifying the Guru in Guru Ashtakam that we read in our Mangal Aarti, sing in our Mangal Aarti every day. Srila Prabhupada quotes, Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado, yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi. So the position of Guru is that if Guru is pleased, then Lord is pleased. He will take you. He will bring you back home, back to God. Right? So by the mercy of spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. So without the grace of spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Right? So how to achieve this? Srila Prabhupada has quoted, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya ubdekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana. First one has to be submissive, render service, inquire confidentially, then you will get the mercy of the Lord. So what is that? That means that connection with the Guru is in following his spiritual instructions, Vani over Vapu, and that is the definition of surrender. What is surrender? Surrender is when we follow the instructions. So with that, I will come to chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So it is mentioned in today's verses that when the Brahmanas used to chant Vedic mantras, it had to be a combination of the meter, the Sanskrit words, right pronunciation, otherwise it will not be successful. That means no benefit. Then Prabhupada mentions, by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, one can attain the highest benefit of sacrificial performances. That means highest benefit. And then Prabhupada also says that even if Hare Krishna mantra is not chanted properly, even if it is not chanted properly, it still has so much potency that the chanter gains the effect. That means there is some benefit. Okay. So all of these can be summed up as that for a devotee, Lord has causeless mercy. What does mercy mean? Mercy means that which is given for no reason. Okay, like I give 80 rupees and a person gives me half a kg of apples. This is not his mercy. I gave something and he gave me something in return. But Lord doesn't do that business. We pray and then Lord, out of no cause, he gives us mercy. So that is called causeless mercy of the Lord. But the causeless mercy is not unreasonable mercy. Okay, means what? If somebody is chanting Hare Krishna properly, he will get the highest benefit. So what if somebody is not chanting Hare Krishna properly? Will he get the highest benefit? No, he will get some benefit. Okay, so for example, somebody is stuck in hell and then they hear Lord Krishna's conch blowing, Panchajanya. Krishna blew the conch shell, and because Krishna's conch shell is so potent that just simply by hearing that transcendental sound vibration, all the jivas that could hear that in the hellish planets, they got liberated. Now they get liberated. What will happen to them? Where will they go? Will one of them who was in the hell because of all this nonsense he had done, he heard Krishna's potent sound vibration coming from Panchajanya, will he suddenly be picked up and put between Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj? Because Krishna's causeless mercy, suddenly he has become an acharya between two acharyas? No, that will not happen. So his mercy is very precise. It can be causeless, but it is not unreasonable. Okay, so they will get liberated from their condition. Some benefit will be there. But Krishna does not pick up and randomly put somebody, in some highest position without any devotional principles being followed. Okay, so so this has to be understood when it is said, how am I chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Right. So with that, how should it be chanted? So I would like to speak about that. Chanting Hare Krishna is a meditation. And because it is a meditation, there are some aspects which have a very strong impact on meditation. The first is occupation. What is the nature of my work? If my work is peaceful, then chanting, there's a very good environment created for chanting. If my work is very passionate, then it is not so conducive for meditation. And if my occupation is totally in tamogun, I'm chopping goats and animals and chicken every day, then there's no question of being able to chant Hare Krishna nicely. Right? So one is occupation. Second is then, how is my sadhana? How is my routine? What time I get up? What do I do? And what kind of association I take regularly. All this makes our environment conducive for meditation. Sitting down. Okay. So what affects it? Our nature affects it. What is our nature? Our nature is spirit soul. Yes, I am a spirit soul, but right now I am not able to act like a spirit soul. I am not in sattva, satya, chitta and anand, sat chit anand. I am not in that state. I am asat. My consciousness is asat, achit and niranand. So why that has happened? That has happened because of how I have nourished myself. If we talk only about this lifetime, how did I nourish myself? Problems in chanting come because of our past nourishments. I watched so many movies. We are such a human being is a person who learns maximum from stories. And our definitions of right and wrong are set by the stories that we have heard. So if anybody grew up watching TV, movies, songs, our definitions of good and bad, what I like, what I don't like, what is the hunger, what do I feel like doing, how do I dance when I'm happy, all these things are coming from old bad habits of what I saw in movies, TV, and Bollywood songs. All that past nourishment is deciding what kind of person I am today. My Shiksha Guru, he grew up in a Sattvic family, and then for 20, how many? Like after 15 to 28 or whatever, for 15 to 20 years, he used to live in a ashrams of Sikhism. Okay. So before coming to Krishna consciousness itself, if you see his life profile, he was a saintly person. So after that, when he picks up to this path, he's already in Sattva. He already has a lifestyle which was very conducive to meditating. Right. Then other part is, what is my current nourishment? So Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj says that you have to fight with your old habits, and you have to also fight with your new bad habits, like WhatsApp or Facebook or other social medias, Instagram, YouTube, and all the bad nourishment that comes from that will affect our chanting. So there is something called 3 P's, that is the posture, pronunciation, and prayerful mood. But more important that is all definitely there. That is the base. But somebody asked a question to Mahatma Prabhu, who's very known for his lectures and seminars on the holy name. How long should it take for my one round? And so he asked a counter question. Do you ever ask, how long should I hug my father? How long should I hug my mother for? How long should I hug my son? No. So that means when we are saying how long one round should take, it is actually a wrong question, because the mood is not correct. First is we should develop liking for Krishna so much that you relish the personal time with holy name. You can only relish personal time with holy name, that okay, now I can sit down peacefully and chant my rounds, only if you are in Sattva-guna. If your life is okay, right now I'm doing this, within by 9 a.m. I have to run over there, I only have 15 minutes, let me quickly do 2 rounds. Okay. I mean, what are you expecting from that? You are going to be just compliant. Yes, I promised to my guru, to the devotees, that that I will chant. So I chanted. Will it be have some will you be able to progress? Well, you will not fall down. But if we really want to make progress, we have to come to a point where my life has become peaceful, and you can become peaceful among craziness also. That is the beauty of sattva. Right? But that has to happen. Right now we are short of time, already over. My one eye is on the clock. But do not measure bhakti by clock. Okay, that's the point. Do not measure bhakti by clock. And all the books that are pending that I have to read, Bapre, I'm not able to read, I'm not able to chant so many rounds, it's not that. But rules of meditation and mind control should be observed. Once the standard of how meditation should be done, then we should not focus on that standard only. That 7.5 minutes for a round, and I've finished Bhagavad Gita, and now I'm going to finish Bhagavatam crash course, and now I'm going to read Bhagavatam and then Chaitanya Charitamrita. The focus from these numbers should move from rules. The rules should not be given up. They are the standard which is established now. On top of that, my focus should move on Krishna, my relationship with Krishna. So numbers will not give Krishna, but more japa, more learning, more hearing about Krishna may attract his mercy. Okay. So that's why I would like to speak about this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra should start with a relationship that we have with Krishna within. Praying to him, talking to him in the mind. I'm sure most of you do that. If not, you should do that, right? Inquiring from him. I remember when I was hardly few days into Krishna consciousness, I used to ponder upon questions, right? And I was thinking about some question, how will that happen? And then just driving. And I was driving and there was a billboard, okay? And suddenly I saw determination is the key. And I was like, oh, wow. Was that an answer that came from Krishna? And then I saw what was that billboard. It was about determination is the key to, and like that it was for some automobile. But I did not read the whole sentence. I just got determination as the key. And then I went, I inquired from, my Shiksha Guru, and somewhere that answer came as that was the answer, So I'm not saying that when you inquire from Krishna within, then, then something immediately will happen, or you will see a Facebook reel and you'll get the answer. It can happen. But more than that, we should go back and we should validate it with the devotees, because the Lord speaks through his devotees. The Lord will speak to you through lectures. The Lord will speak to you through Srila Prabhupada's books. But that relationship is the foundation of all that. The relationship that you have with Krishna within. And when you get those answers, the sweetness in your relationship will increase. Oh, wow, Krishna is reciprocating with me. Many devotees are not able to understand that or see that as the reciprocation from Krishna, or acknowledge that as a reciprocation from Krishna. And that's why we should realize that what if you had a phone where you had a personal number of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and you can call him anytime, and you see other people talking, and if you also call this, he will pick up the call and he will speak to you. See, that's why we need to realize this as your wealth. The ability that you are able to pray to Krishna through the Hare Krishna mantra. That holy name is the access to Prime Minister Modi. No, Modi will come and go. Thousands of Modi will come and go. Here is Krishna, the Lord and Master of this entire existence, and you have access to him. What to the most important personality, this should be there. Sometimes we should apologize to him for the mistakes and offenses towards the devotees. Oh, he's your devotee, my Lord. I'm so sorry. I did not behave with him properly yesterday. And whenever I will see him, I will try to apologize to him also. But if there are offenses towards the Lord itself, they are more permanent, because I have a permanent a relationship of a daily basis with Krishna. How did even an offense happen? There should be a permanent fix in my consciousness, in my relation, in my sincerity. How could that offense happen? Maybe I was ignorant. Then Krishna, please forgive me. I learned. But more than begging for forgiveness from Krishna for the offenses that we do towards the Lord, we should actually beg forgiveness from Guru, because he is there. When I see Krishna and when I'm serving Krishna through my words, mind, thoughts, and actions, they are all getting channelized through Guru, and it is only his this thing. So when we offend others, we apologize to the Lord because we did not treat his family members properly. But when we directly do offense towards the Lord, then we should actually apologize to the Guru and fix our permanent relationship with Krishna, because of which this offense happened. Okay. Seeing relationship with Krishna through Guru and devotees around us. What would Krishna think if he saw me dealing with the devotees like this? Okay. Developing reverence and sensitivity towards the deities, like we saw in Seva Aparadhs, that are to be avoided. Becoming receptive to exchanges and reciprocation with the deities. How deities reciprocate? A flower comes to you, or a sweet comes to you, or you go take darshan of the Lord, and some thought comes in your heart. That thought is coming because of your presence in front of the deities. So you should know that the deities are reciprocating. How do I know deities are reciprocating? When I read and hear about Krishna, when I read Bhagavad Gita, what happens is it improves the mental image that we have of God in our heart. So sometimes what may happen, you see some very cheap joke, let's say, and I laughed. And then in my head, Krishna is also laughing. That is not true. Is that our image of Krishna is not proper? We think that God will also laugh in this situation. But God, we need to know, we need to understand what is the attitude of Krishna. Then we will know whether he will really laugh on something cheap or not. Right? Similarly, I have heard sometimes devotees say, oh my God, he did this. Somebody should save him from the wrath and anger of God. So in their head, Krishna is an extremely angry person who can punish and kill anybody he wants. So is Krishna like that? Is Krishna like that towards people who are trying to chant? Towards the people who are going to his temple, who are trying to do some service? Is Krishna like that? So when we hear about Krishna, when we read about Krishna, the image that we have of God should improve so that we understand the greatness of God and the sweetness of God. This will improve our relationship with Krishna. And then it will bring the image of God that we have, whom we complain to or thank or appreciate or glorify. That image will come to the closer to the reality of Krishna. That happens with every relationship. A husband and wife looks at a husband, creates an image, says, I know what he's going to do next. He is like this only. Why are you doing this? Husband gets offended. He says, I was not going to do that. What do you think? She will be like, no, I know you. Husband disagrees. Why? Because for every person, we know them only by the image we form in our head about that person. And we treat the other people by that image only. People are called mad if their image of some person is very deluded. So they consider someone in some other way only, like people who are mad in love with some other person, and that other person is not madly in love with this person. Then this person, he would talk things that would be like, what is this guy talking about? He sounds mad. Why? Because his image, his imagination is very different from the reality of that person. Right? So for God, it is impossible to understand God completely, but it is possible to understand the nature of God to a great extent. And that hard work the soul has to do so that his image of God is as realistic as it can get. Actually, self-realization in that sense is when your understanding of God gets totally aligned with the reality of God. That is self-realization. Okay. So then we understand our dharmas, our duty. What would Krishna want me to do? Okay. And realizing that our truest access to Krishna, because all this is imagination only or what? No, Krishna is there. And in Kali Yuga, the most realistic and most powerful way to reach the reality of Krishna is through his holy names. Through his holy names. That is the most realistic and only way you can access the real Krishna. No imagination, beyond speculation. Okay. So that is the message. I would see if there's time for this. Let me first cover this. Okay. Do we have time? I'm already over, right? I guess. Mataji.
Hare Krishna, 10 more minutes you can take, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
I will just finish the last screen first, the glory of Sankirtan Yajna, because we are talking about chanting and it is very important. What is Sankirtan? Sankirtan is when more than two devotees come together and glorify the Lord. If you can do it at home, you can do it in temple, and you can do it on the streets. Okay. So this collective aspect of spirituality is very important in Kali Yuga. And there's a very important reason why in Kali Yuga. Because more than any other time in Kali Yuga, people see themselves from others' eyes. People see themselves from others' eyes. Means, I'm sitting and working, and I did a terrible job at work. It's okay. I've been doing terrible job at work from 6 months. It's okay. Tomorrow, My boss will get to know that I'm doing terrible job. Now it's a problem. Okay. Somebody is going to get to know that I did something wrong. Now it is a problem. From all these days, I knew I am being wrong. It doesn't matter. Why? Because I am not even seeing myself from my eyes that how bad I am. I am seeing myself also from others' eyes. That when people say that I am bad, then it's a big problem for me. Otherwise, if I keep doing dabba work and others are appreciating me, I'm like, it's okay. Everything is great. This happens, this insincerity or this hypocrisy is a function of Kali Yuga. And because of this, the sincerity in spirituality also dies very quickly in Kali Yuga. And that's why, how to get that sincerity back? It is said, Ekaki amar nahi paya bala, harinama sankirtane. Alone, I cannot do it in this world. I need the motivation and enthusiasm of that community to keep my motivation and my spirits high for spirituality. So, collective spirituality increases motivation to walk on the spiritual path with enthusiasm. But it comes with a big risk of hypocrisy. If one only depends on the presence of external association, as long as I'm in the temple, I'm surrounded by devotees, I'm a nice guy. If I do not internalize, if I do not work on my relationship with Krishna, such a sweet, such a friendly, such a calmness providing, satisfaction providing relationship with Krishna, if I do not work on that, then the moment I am not in the association of devotees, I come back home, all sorts of nonsense starts in my head. So our observation has been that it is easy for Indians especially to take up to spirituality in home, to take up to spirituality in temple, but to take up to spirituality on the streets, going out doing harinam and sending, doing book distribution, that is difficult. Okay, because of our conditioning. Outside, for them everything is new. For Westerners, spirituality in home, spirituality in temple, and spirituality on the streets, everything is new. So when Westerners take up, they do everything because for them that is Krishna consciousness. For us, it is just defined Hinduism. Okay, most of the people, their definition or their absorption or their surrender to Krishna consciousness is just a refined form of Hinduism. What I already did, I am doing that. But that is not Sankirtan movement. And this is very important if you want to feel the difference in your consciousness. If you want to feel the difference in your consciousness, then Sankirtan is the option. And that's why I have met devotees in my life, Westerner Matajis, very elderly, Prabhupada disciple. She goes for book distribution every day. Every night she will see Mahaprabhu in her dream. Prabhupada will come and speak to her in her dream. Why? Because she is doing what is expected. She is being the warrior of Sankirtan Yagya. So then you get Nityananda's mercy. So hit the street with Sankirtan and book distribution, you will see the difference. So I would stop here. Storyline was the first thing we discussed. Anga left the kingdom due to Vena. Vena was punished. Vidura inquired. Anga once did fire sacrifice, but demigods did not appear because he did not have a son. That's the story we were discussing. Srila Prabhupada mentioned Seva Aparadh. So we saw 64 offenses due to the master-servant relationship issues that we have with the Lord and the deities especially. Guru Kripa, we saw Guru's mercy comes from following his instructions. That is true surrender. Then chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be with the heart, not with the counter. It should be like a continuation of my improving relationship with Krishna. And then finally we saw the glory of Sankirtan Yagya, which is to be a spiritual warrior. With that, I'll stop here. Sorry for going little over time because there was a lot of content today. Verses. I'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Any comments, Mataji? We'll see if there is time for that.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you please display the second last one?
Okay.
Yeah, that screen, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. This was the mathematics of spirituality. 99% of our spiritual progress depends on chanting. 1% depends on everything else. Sadhana, seva, sadacha. 99% quality of our chanting depends on that 1%. What you do in that sadhana, seva and sadacha, that will decide the quality of this chanting. Of that 1% sadhana and seva, whatever sadhana and seva we do, 99% in that has to be our effort. That I'm studying, I'm serving, I'm treating devotees nicely, I'm trying to serve. 99% effort we need to put. 1% is Krishna's mercy. Two fingers of Damodar Leela, right? Our effort and Krishna's mercy. So Krishna's mercy is only 1%. Now, by 99% of the effort that we make in our spirituality, we make 1% progress in our spiritual journey. And that 1% of Krishna's mercy that we get, that covers the 99% of our spiritual journey. Okay, that was the mathematics of spirituality. Not I'll put because it's something to do with chanting.
Very bold. Great, Prabhuji. Very, very enlightening class. Suma Mataji, you can ask your question.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Wonderful class, Prabhuji. Such a beneficial class, Prabhuji. The last part, I really liked it, to receive Nityananda Prabhu's mercy and Mahaprabhu's mercy. We have to get out on the streets and do book distribution and all that, Prabhuji. And it was so encouraging, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. In one of the clip, you showed that when we chant, we are all chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Whether we chant it with pure devotion or not, we will get the benefit. But you said that one word, that unreasonable. Krishna is all merciful, but he's unreasonable. So I just want you to throw some more light on that, Prabhuji. So what if
he's not unreasonable. He's causeless, but he's reasonable. That's what I was saying, Mataji.
Reasonable, yeah, Prabhuji. That why did you say that, Prabhuji? Like I did not get it.
It is basically that, okay, how does somebody get Krishna's mercy? Well, you can get Krishna's mercy causelessly. Anybody can get. Like, you read Damodar Ashtakam, and then it says that, whoever reads this will get liberated. Or you read some other Ashtakam, whoever will read this, just once will attain something. Now, will they attain Golok Vrindavan? Will they get service to Radha Rani directly in the, Morai Abilas, Vilas Kunje Diyavas, Vilas Kunj, they will be Nayane Hiribo Sada Yugala Roop Rashi. Will they be able to see that? Or will they just be liberated? They'll just be liberated like a demon is killed and they are liberated in Brahma Jyoti, impersonal liberation. Or will they suddenly be placed in Vaikuntha, serving some one particular devotee in Vaikuntha? The point is, sometimes when it is said that Krishna is merciful, these grades are not given. So it seems like everything is a mercy of Krishna, and when we get mercy of Krishna, we directly reach Golok Vrindavan only. But that is where I wanted to bring that point, that it is not like that. Like somebody may say, why to do so much? I can become a bad person. I will become such a bad person that Krishna will have to personally come and kill me. And if Krishna will kill me, just like all the demons, they go to spiritual world after being killed, I will also get killed and go to the spiritual world. Okay. So that is not true, because when you do bhakti, then the destination is different. And there is causeless mercy of Krishna. When a demon is killed, in that killing also there is causeless mercy of Krishna. But he does not attain that position in spiritual world that a devotee attains in spiritual world. There is no rasa. Why there is no rasa? Because the demon never cultivated rasa with Krishna. So how will suddenly he enter Madhurya ras? Why would suddenly a demon enter Sakhya ras? Right? So a devotee cultivates that. And so devotee will receive that, reach that. Even though there is Krishna's causeless mercy in both the places, his causeless mercy is not unreasonable. It is reasonable. He will give something to the devotee which is very high, and something not so high to, even though it is absolute. Everything in spiritual world is absolute. But based on the rasa that we, reciprocate with, our destinations are different. That was my point, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Is it because of that, Prabhuji, that Prabhupada always says that we all end up in Vaikunthas, most of the devotees, because when we chant like that? Because chanting of the Mahamantra is good, but when we chant without any, I mean, that, what to say, Prabhuji? With pure devotion, we will end up being in Vaikunthas. I mean, not Vaikuntha, sorry, heaven. So, but being enjoying in the heaven, we will have to come back again into the earthly planet, no, Prabhuji, like.
So, heaven, Vaikuntha, Goloka. Devotees will go to heaven because devotees do not desire Krishna. Most of the attraction that people have many a times is that I want to go back home, back to Godhead. Why you want to go back home, back to Godhead? Because there will be no misery. Okay, there will be no misery. And what will you do? I will sit and eat prasadam, very nice prasadam with Krishna. These are all dreams of being in heaven only. You don't want to go back to Godhead. Godhead means it is 24/7 Krishna only. Where is you don't focus on gulab jamun, you don't focus on the lights and the ambience of the spiritual world, and Krishna comes, says, hey, I'm going for Dwapar Yuga is happening in one universe. Okay, bye Krishna, you go, I will sit here only. That is all desire of being in heaven. So then you will go to heaven. You will get bored actually. Why? After reading these books, why we don't come to Sattva Guna? Because in my today's nature, Sattva Guna, the activities of Sattva Guna are extremely boring for me. So if they are boring, sitting and reading whole day, Sattva guy is doing, I cannot do that. I want to go, I want to do something, passion. Okay, same thing is going to happen in back to Godhead also. You go back home, back to Godhead, everybody is talking about Krishna only. How much Krishna they are talking? I don't want to be here. If that bhav is there, you will never go there. You will go to some heaven because of your pious activities and the holy names you chanted. So some benefit you got because of that. So that is heaven. And then Vaikuntha also. See, sadhana bhakti, this is from Bhanu Swami Maharaj. Bhanu Swami Maharaj says that actually when somebody is doing sadhana bhakti, that will never transform into Raganuga bhakti. No. Raganuga bhakti is where I introduce that little aspect that you love Krishna. And you cultivate that part of loving Krishna so that that becomes spontaneous. How it will become spontaneous? By doing sadhana bhakti, you have to reach some points where you realize that the way I was thinking this will be achieved was wrong. Okay. The only way sadhana bhakti you can make progress is when you realize that whatever I've been doing, this is not going to work. Who says this? Sachinandan Swami Maharaj has written a book, Nectarian Oceans of Chanting of Holy Names. In that he says that I was sitting in Vrindavan, I think near Govardhan, and I suddenly started chanting in a way where I realized that in my last 25 years, I have not chanted like this. So the progress that he made in last 25 years was to come to a point where he realized that this is not how I'm going to get Krishna. You cannot get that unless you have properly chanted for 25 years. You see? So sadhana bhakti can bring you to a point by which you realize that now I need to change the way I am looking at Krishna, the way I am looking at this process. It is not so mechanical. It is more of the heart's thing. Okay, so it is said Bhagavad Gita, finish Bhagavad Gita, finish Shrimad Bhagavatam, finish Chaitanya Charitamrita, then read the books of Acharyas. Now, once you are done with all this, you will realize that reading these books was not something that is going to give me Krishna. But the consciousness that I have attained, and with that, what should I do now? How I should, look at Krishna. You see the point? So, if one does not realize this, maximum they will, because of sadhana bhakti, they will attain Vaikuntha only. But if you do the activities, the instructions that are given by Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is Sankirtan, then it's a whole together different thing. So that's why I am pointing out the importance of preaching for that matter. Preaching, when a person does preaching, door to door, hitting the streets, the bhav is totally different. That can take you to Goloka. You see the point? Okay. So
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was an eye-opener for me. Prabhuji, preaching does not mean that only we have to go out and give book distribution and do all that. We can do it wherever we are. We can start. bring in more people to Krishna consciousness. Is my understanding clear?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, see, there should be a plan. When you go out, hit the street, there should be a plan of genuine care for that Jivatma. For example, there's a book by Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, Nectarian, what is that? Of congregational preaching. Nectar of congregational preaching. In that he says that when we were new and our movement was new, a young foreign brahmachari was distributing books on the railway station of Kolkata, and he met across a man who took the books, and then with whatever little this American told him that your goal of life is to surrender to Krishna, give your life to Krishna. Okay, what are you doing? I have moved full time to the temple. He said, I have 5 or 6 children, or how many, I don't know, 8 or 9 children. I have a wife, I have two goats. I will sell my house and I will move with you to the temple. And this devotee got scared. He was like, no, we are already too many people in the temple. We don't have place in the temple. Okay, then he was like, no, I want to give my life to Krishna. You tell me what should I do? And this devotee is standing over there. You can buy more books from me. So that means you went out, but you have no idea, no plan. What will you do if you found a very nice soul who's ready to surrender his life? So there should be a plan. And what is that plan? If 10,000 people came to your temple, what will you do? Do you have a plan? If yes, then go do the outreach of 10,000 people. Or otherwise, even one person, they will come, they will read the book, I will invite them to the temple, prasad, I will invite them to this program that is happening. Bhagavad Gita is starting, discover yourself courses are starting. Invite them to that, then they will do this, then they will do that. I am going out with a complete plan of, if everything falls in place, how would this person's spiritual life will be handled? With that maturity, with that kind of care, not so because I have to go out because I want to go back home, go back to Godhead by this preaching. No, you genuinely have a foundation of selflessness in you. With that selfless nature, I want to help others. So help myself understand the value of spirituality, and then with selflessly give that to somebody else. That selflessness is something that people buy. And because of that, preaching becomes a regular thing. Preaching is that I'm trying to become saintly and I'm trying to come in contact with people with that reinforced faith. This is the best thing for you. Then people will take it. And we should know how I can give, should I connect or should I myself do a program? How I can, take care of that person's spiritual life from zero to being connected to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very much
Thank you so
grateful
much,
to you,
Prabhuji, for
Hare
a wonderful class. We'll have to end the class with prayers.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।
All glories to
Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna to all devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare